Brian and Brian, and we are here in Montville, New Jersey, looking for the Montville Air Park. What is this for?
This is for the 150th anniversary of Montville.
Okay, so this so-called Tawaco Air Park is in this massive forest in Tawaco.
Yeah.
So we are going to go look for it and discover it, okay?
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay guys, look what we found. It looks like a really old airplane wheel, maybe from a 1957 aircraft.
Very old, because the Tawaco Air Park was
This Tawaco Air Park was built in 1956. It was abandoned in 1967. So
still very rusty. It's very, very rusty, so it's old.
it's been decayed a lot.
Yeah.
Some chains in here. Okay, let's keep going. Okay guys, looks like we found some old like airplane seats from some kind of aircraft. Looks like some old seats from something. We don't really know.
No.
And also here, come with me. Look at this.
Could be stainless steel.
This old can looks from some kind of like can for oil or something. Doesn't have any writing on it, but. Okay guys, looks like we found something else. It looks like a really old something, part of maybe the computer of the plane itself.
Recent ingrown. There's obviously electrical circuits going around.
Let's flip it around.
These wires. If you flip it. Something. Do not know what this is. What is this?
It looks like some part. Looks like these are like some kind of lights. Maybe.
This one is not a light.
Look at all. You still have all the stuff pretty intact.
And the color's still there, surprisingly. Alright.
Okay, let's see what we can find some more. Let's go. Okay guys, this looks like where the airport used to stand. Now, it's been a way long years and people have taken over this land after they have sold it. So it looks like a lot of it has been removed. But there's still these artifacts around.
Wooden planks and cement pieces.
Yep.
From, I guess, a building.
Wait, that Coca-Cola can looks really old. From what area?
Oh my goodness. That is a very old Coca-Cola can.
All the Coca-Cola cans are now red. Let's just have to wait. That's really weird. Okay, guys. Turns out these two used to be like old, like maybe sheds where they used to keep like airplane parts, airplanes even. Yep. Looks like these used to be like hangars. You can see like a support beam over here.
Two big beams. One there, one here. Three. There's one over here too. Four.
Look like these are some bullet holes somebody took like some kind of shot at.
Oh yeah. Maybe, no, I think it was just woodpeckers. Or termites.
Termites. Okay, let's get away from here.
Support beam.
Another support beam. Oh, there's some tires over there.
I hit some metal.
Some kind of rug.
That's not.
Oh, that's a tire. Tube.
Okay guys, it looks like we found something. It looks like it says Cessna aircraft. This is like two halves. Aircraft? It looks like a battery. You can see like the plus and the minus ways that they like power the plane. Wow, this is really old.
100, 90, 80 years old?
Yeah, that looks really old. As you can see, it says Cessna aircraft. Let's see.
Cessna. The A probably of a high chance stands for aircraft.
Yeah.
Or airplanes.
Now, this house was originally built in 1917. Now, part of the history of this town, which you may not know, and that doesn't directly connect with your questions here, but this town was really big, Montville too, in Morris County, with the Morris Canal. All right? And I have all books here on the Morris Canal, and you're free to borrow these. You want to borrow these? These are my own books, okay? This is a book on the Morris Canal. This is an old book on the Morris Canal. This is another one. And this book is a lot of writing. There's not many pictures. But it's 100 years and 100 miles because it was 100 miles long, 103 miles, okay? Went from the Delaware River to the Hudson River. and they pulled boats that were roughly 60 feet long. You'll see pictures of the boats in this big book here, okay? The boats were hinged in the middle like this so they could flex. Now, they didn't flex in the water. When they were sitting in the water, they just stayed straight, okay? And they carried mostly coal, sometimes lumber. Now, how did you move the boat? The boat was moved by pulling it with mules. Now, they didn't use horses because if a horse got hot, he would jump in the water. A mule is dead scared of water. He won't go in the water. So they'd rather use a mule. Okay? Now, a couple of things that you'll find interesting about the canal. Okay? Number one, in this book, you'll find a picture, if you haven't ever heard of ivory soap. Ivory soap floats. You take anybody else's soap and you put it in water, it sinks to the bottom. Ivory soap floats. And the salesman for ivory soap came to the people who were working on the canal with the boats and said, try this soap, it floats. Now their problem was the two boats, there was two pieces of boat hooked together with a steel shaft, right? And the boat tipped down in the middle because there was more coal at that point than there was at the front or the back of the boat. Okay, so that made it never rode level in the water when it had a load of coal in it. Well, that put it closer to the water so that if somebody wanted to wash, they would go to the middle of the boat, which was the lowest point, scoop up some water, use the soap, and drop the soap, and Johnny, go get my soap. So the boy had to jump in the thing, which was only 5 feet deep, and he had to go on the bottom and get his mom's soap back. You know, well, this guy comes along and says the soap floats. Ah, come on, don't tell me about it. You know, but he threw it in the water and it floated. Wow! All of a sudden, everybody on the canal wanted to buy ivory soap. There's a picture of the original bar of soap there. Okay, that kind of stuff. And so the early history of Montville has a lot to do with that. Now, here's a book on the early history of Montville. You may find stuff in here that's interesting. There's pictures of houses and so on. You might find that interesting. And then the other questions that you asked here, to describe the neighborhood that we grew up in. I didn't grow up here. I grew up in Prospect Park, New Jersey, which is about 12 miles from here. I lived there for 20 years of my life. I moved into the house when I was 2, and when I was 22, I got married and came here. Now, in Prospect Park, we lived on a piece of land 50 by 100 with a 2-family house and a 2-car garage in the backyard. Now, that was such a small piece of property, and my wife lived in Wayne on a big piece of property. And I says, if we get married, we're going to get a big piece of property. Well, we got this house finally. And this house, we only paid $19,500 for.
Okay.
That's, by today's standard, you say, you can't buy a house for $19,000. Well, that's what I paid for this house. Now, the Morris Canal is behind us here, okay?
Yes.
And this house, built in 1917, was made while the canal was still working. They were still moving boats back and forth. So actually, the front of the house faces the canal.
Okay.
There was a porch all the way across that side of the house. Now, part of the porch became our living room. The other part of the porch became my office over here.
Okay.
We still have a porch that faces that way because the house had an L-shaped porch on it.
Okay.
So the only thing that's left is the piece that went this way. The rest of it has all become other parts of the house. So there's some changes there.
So the Morris Canal was that big?
Oh,
it was floating right in front of it?
It's right behind us. That's
Right.
our property line.
Yeah, that's your property line. Okay.
Yeah. So there was a lady who lived in a house across the canal. There was a mother who was a widow and her daughter who was a widow.
Okay.
And they lived together in the house that's right now painted white.
Okay.
It was yellow for a while, I
Yes,
think now
okay.
it's white, okay? And those people used to go swimming in the canal on Sunday because on Sunday, no boats moved on the canal. That was a day of rest,
Okay.
believe it or not. There was no traffic on the canal on Sunday. So people used it for swimming. It was great water to go swimming, you know? And that lady says that she remembered swimming in the canal. We had her and her mother here for a cup of tea one time, you know?
Okay.
And then they told us all about the canal and everything else. Now, the other end of our property over here, the canal is not very wide. So if two boats are coming from opposite directions, how do they pass one another?
Yes.
Okay. At the end of our property, the canal got very wide this way.
Okay.
It was called the Tawako Basin. Now, the funny part of it is there's no pictures in any of these books of it. Yeah, I have a neighbor who's dead now. He's an old man, okay? But when we first came here, he told us that that basin down there is truly called the Tawako Basin. And he says to me, if you go down there, you're going to find the remains of a canal boat that was just rotting away.
Uh-huh.
You know, because they were all made out of wood.
Yes.
Well, boy, I took right off for down there, and I couldn't find any trace of a boat. I guess it totally rotted. It was gone. Okay. But, you know, that kind of information. Now, another interesting thing you're not going to find in any book, you know Changebridge Road.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where did the name come from?
I have no idea.
Okay. Here, where we are right here, the mule path that the mules walked on was on that side of the canal.
Okay.
So from this side of the canal to water, our property just slopes right up. But it's high and low and high and low. You look on the other side, it's level. That was where the mules walked,
Okay.
nice and straight. When you get to Changebridge Road, the mules had to change to the other side because now the mule path is on this side.
Okay.
This is the north side of the canal. Changebridge Road, the mules had to go to the south side. So the mules are pulling the boat with a long, heavy rope. So they had to unhook the rope from the boat. It was just a big post with the rope slipped over it. And then they pulled, okay? So that the father would take the rope and he would just slip it off the post, and the little boy with his little stick hitting the mules to make them walk, the two mules would go over the top of the bridge, so the bridge's sides were shaped like this, so that the rope could slide up one side and down the other without hooking on anything. Now the mules are on this side, and as soon as the boat coasted underneath, the boy threw the rope back to his father hooked the rope over the post, and they continued on. That's all explained in here.
Okay.
So that's a part of Montville's history, okay?
You know, I like anything about like the Montville Air Park itself?
About the airport?
Yeah.
The only thing I know about the airport is that when we came here, there was always a plane backed into that barn. The back end of the plane was in the barn because the wings wouldn't fit.
Oh,
And
yeah.
on the top
I was
of the
wondering how
barn-
a plane gets in there.
And on the top of the barn, there was an air sock to tell you which way the wind was blowing.
Oh, yeah. That's what I read
You
in
know,
the
they had a
website.
sock hanging down. When the wind blew, the sock would stand out straight.
Yeah.
And then if you're facing your house and you're facing the barn, on the left side, the airport went straight back, past the barn, and just went straight back. And I guess they just filled that all in and it's just done. But
Yeah.
it was a grass and gravel strip, no blacktop or anything, just grass and gravel that
Yeah.
ran back in there. And the plane would either go that way or this way to take off. I came home from work one day and traffic was all backed up. And I
Okay.
says, what in the world's going on here?
Uh-huh.
So I tried to go that way, but there was no traffic. I had to go all the way around as if I'm going to your jewelry shop
Yeah.
the other way.
Uh-huh.
And I came down Changebridge the other way, and I brought a camera with me, and I took, I think, 5 pictures. And I can only find one of those pictures. There were slides, and I don't know what happened to them, and it makes me so mad. They gotta be somewhere, but I gotta find them somewhere. Now what happened is there was a train with 110 cars being pulled by 4 engines. And the guys were so busy talking with each other, driving this train, I guess, that they didn't pay attention to the fact that on the track, one car behind the engines had jumped the track. And so, you know, you have, if this is a
Yeah.
train car, you have a truck with 4 wheels here, and you have a truck, they actually call it a truck, with 4 wheels here. This truck had jumped off the track.
Yeah, this guy
And
was.
instead of riding on the track, it's riding on the wooden rails,
Yeah.
the ties, okay?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So the cars are misaligned like this. Well, when they came, that was fine, just in the open space, but when they came to the bridge, that car didn't fit on the bridge. And it hit the end of the steel beam that went across the bridge, and it ripped it right out of the concrete. And it turned it, and that big piece of the bridge turned like this, and it dropped right down onto Route 202 and dug into the blacktop. Now that car crashed on the other side, and the next car crashed on top of it. There were cars and twisted rails all over the place. And one of the, I kid you not, one of the cars was Purina dog chow, and it got busted open, and there was dog food everywhere. And you didn't have to have your dog on a chain back then. There was dogs running loose everywhere, and all these dogs were coming for a free lunch. And I had a picture of what they were doing because not only did the piece of the bridge land on 202, the car that was at first responsible for this turned and landed on 202 with the coupler digging right into the blacktop.
Wow.
And the rest of the car was still up on the bridge.
Oh my.
But the rest of the cars passed that, and they were just flying all over the place after that, okay? Now, I can't find anything in the library that explains this train wreck. It was the Erie-Lackawanna Railroad. And I don't know, I tried to talk to somebody from the Montville Historical Society, and they don't seem to know anything about it. How could this just be? And I
Cover
think
it up.
because nobody was injured, it's not important.
No, it's not important.
But the road was closed for 3 days before they had traffic moving again.
Wow.
And the other thing that is interesting to tell you about this town is the railroad parking lot over here where you park.
Yeah.
You should have seen what that railroad parking lot looked like when we moved here in 1965. Number one, you could park cars on both sides of the railroad like you do now, but there was an actual building in the parking lot in each side, which was the train station. The train stopped over there, and people could wait in the building and then come out and get on the train. Now, there were 2 sets of train tracks. As a matter of fact, in the beginning there were 3, but at the time we came here, there was just 2 train tracks. They did not want people walking from the one building out and jumping over the tracks to get a train that was going in the other direction. So they made a tunnel underneath the railroad. And the tunnel went from the one building underneath the railroad and came up in the building on the other side.
Okay.
Now, they stopped using the tunnels, but then vandals got in there and they started hiding in the tunnels and making fires in the tunnel, and there was all kinds of problems. So they sealed the tunnels off, they filled them up, and they tore those buildings down. But one of those buildings was the post office. And it had all pigeonholes for the mail to go in,
Okay.
for the mail delivery to come and get the mail there and deliver.
Okay guys, I just wanted to explain to you about some of these pictures. So these pictures were taken in 2012, about 5 years ago. So I just wanted to explain to you why I'm showing you this. So recently, when we have gone to discover all of these artifacts, they are not there. Turns out someone has bought the property and removed all of these artifacts, but luckily we have the pictures to prove their existence. So in this picture we have an old shed, and in this picture we have an old gas drum. It used to hold gas. It'll fuel up the planes. So yeah. So this used to be an old shed that they would use to house the planes. Turns out there used to be at least 3 or 4 planes that used to be in the air park. But this shed, it used to be a giant shed that it could hold all of the planes. So this is a picture of the aviation oil. This oil was used in the planes. We had found it on the ground a long time ago. Today, all these artifacts have been gone, but we still have the pictures. So as you can see, it says Esso, and if you can read it, it says aviation oil. Aviation oil. So this was made in America. There's the print over there. So some of these pictures here, as you can see in this picture, there is 2 old trucks. So now these trucks, they are not there anymore. I don't really know how, but the people who have bought this property have removed these trucks, and they're not there anymore. But we still have those pictures. Now this is one of the sides of the pictures. It's really hard to see, but it looks like it's from old NYC truck company. In this is the second truck that was around there. You can see it's all just crumbled. The back is falling apart. It was all rusted and all decayed, so it was not mobile or operational at any point. This is the back of it. This has been caved in by a bunch of maybe because of the weather, erosion, all those stuff. So in this picture, this is the back. This is inside one of the trucks. This is in the back. It has little crates and stuff. Okay, this is in the front of the truck. This is the whole this is the driver's wheel. This is all of the control panel. This is where the seats used to be. All this stuff used to be over here. And in this is the last picture. This is aircraft type TSO C62B. So this used to be an airplane tire, the front tire for an airplane or a 1967 Cessna aircraft. So this was used in all the planes. These were like the special kind of tires they used. So I just wanted to show you some of these pictures because they're really interesting. Okay, so back to the documentary. Bye, guys. Okay, guys, this is some kind of old oil can for the planes. As I did some research, and this means ESSO aviation oil. So this is used for planes, lubricating the plane's engine parts. But yeah,
Probably the engine.
okay, guys, it looks like we found an old airplane wheel. Maybe the front tire or the back tire. Wait, read what it says.
Okay.
Okay, so this says 6.0 to 6, type 3 TSO, 6 ply rating. Okay, that's not really important. Let's see.
It's nylon.
It's made by Goodyear. That's
The
a really
flight special. So this is obvious for the airplane.
obviously for the airplane. Let's see if they have a year.
Manufactured by Goodyear. Yeah, okay. 20. No, that's not right. Does it say anything here?
Mm.
No.
But we can research it and tell you what year it is. Okay.
It's obviously about Goodyear. So.
Okay, let's see. Keep moving. Keep moving. Okay, guys, it looks like we found this old, maybe
Gasoline thing.
Yeah, gasoline
Try
thing.
opening it.
No.
Too rusty to open.
No. Okay, guys, into the final piece. This barn. This is the barn that housed all the planes for the airport.
Well, of course, it's not big enough, so they only put the tail inside. This area.
This area. This whole area, the tail was sticking out of the plane, and they would work on it if they wanted to. Wait, come around. Let's see. Come around. Let's see. Okay, guys, this is the side of the barn. Obviously, this has been boarded up, but before it was all open. There's no like wall here. So this concludes our segment on the Toronto Airport. We'll see you next time.
And another
Bye, guys.
social studies video.
Bye, guys.
Hey. It's a wild Brian in his natural habitat. Oh, there's two. There's two wild Brians in his natural habitat. They've both spotted me. I must keep following. It's two wild Brians in their natural habitats, and I'm slowly following them. What are they doing? Are they eating? No, they appear to be walking right now. Two wild Brians. Look, one has spotted me. I must run. You having fun there, Brian? Yep. You having fun there? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do this. You having fun there, huh? Wow. You having fun there? Yes, very, very. A lot of fun. Oh. You having fun there, huh? Yep. Yes, yeah. Yes, I am. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Can you shut up, please?
No.
Just
Yeah. Yeah. What?
Okay, go. Give it